Hello everyone! Magandang araw! My name is Che and welcome to my channel where I'll post videos about my hobbies. This time, orchids. I will introduce my collections first and on my next videos I will talk more about them. So please watch out for that and consider subscribing. Although please note that I am not an expert on this, but I will be posting my success and failures so that we can learn from each other. This is where I grow my orchids now. I am kinda new in growing orchids in containers because I am used to this, mounting orchids in Madre de Cacao trunks. But we need to go to the city and live in a subdivision. So here are my new orchids in different media and setups. Here are my dendrobiums, which are commonly known as Dendrobium Phalaenopsis. I have mostly of them because they are one of the most affordable and blooms most of the time. They are also one of the most common and popular orchids in the Philippines. This section has 70% black shading net to protect the orchids from getting sunburn, but it is still open so that the rain can water the plants. This is a Dendrobium Nester mounted on a piece of wood, but I put some sphagnum moss on it so that it can retain moisture. This one is also mounted but on a fern slab. This one is also mounted on a fern slab, but I wrap around some sphagnum moss. This mini dendrobium is on a plastic pot with clay pebbles topped with some sphagnum moss. These dendrobiums here are planted on clay pots with charcoal topped with some coconut husk chips. They are still wet from the rain and only few has blooms and spikes, but I hope that they will bloom all together soon. This is the other side of my growing area. It also has black shading net and plastic roofing to protect the orchids from the sun and rain because I have here my semi-hydro setup and orchids in self-watering pots. Here are my dendrobiums in semi-hydro setup. They are in different sizes of plastic pots with lava rocks. This is a new growth. I have repotted them in this setup for more than 2 months already. These dendros in plastic cups are keikis I received as freebies in my order online. They are also in semi-hydro setup with clay pebbles and lava rocks. Here are some more of my dendrobiums. At the back are planted in clay pots with charcoal, topped with some coconut husk chips. At the front are planted in plastic containers with mix of clay pebbles, charcoal, and lava rocks. Some orchids here have sunburn, so I have to install additional shading. That's just a tarpaulin. I also use the cutouts from the garden net I used. It is not a pretty sight, but it helped in preventing the damages on their leaves. In here, I have some dendrobium seedlings I planted in a semi-hydro setup with LECA and lava rocks. Now let's take a look at my cattleyas. This one I planted in a mix of bark and charcoal. This amazing Thailand is in coconut husk and charcoal. They are both in clay pots. In here are my cattleyas in improvised self-watering pots. They are in LECA and some lava rocks. These are my cattleyas in semi-hydro setup. I use clay pebbles, LECA, and lava rocks. Here are some of my cattleya seedlings I planted in plastic container. I used charcoal, clay pebbles, and some coconut husk chips. Some more of my cattleya seedlings. They are in 16-ounce plastic cups. I used LECA and some lava rocks. Down here are some seedlings and divisions. They are also in semi-hydro setup with LECA, clay pebbles, and lava rocks. I keep saying LECA and clay pebbles as if they're different, but they're just the same, sorry. Last set of my cattleya seedlings. They are also in 16-ounce plastic cups with LECA and some lava rocks. I transferred all of my cattleya seedlings except for maybe 4 when I realized that I have too many of them. I only use small quantity of lava rocks just to make the cup stable because LECA is so lightweight. Let's move on to my Phalaenopsis. There are numbers of Phalaenopsis native to the Philippines, but when it comes to hybrids, many find it hard to grow them, and I was one of them. That's why I'm very thankful for all the tutorials in YouTube because I learned a lot from them. And one of the reasons I'm making this channel is that you might learn something from me too. I got these 2 big falls more than 1 month ago as a gift, and now they are growing new leaves and roots. These 3 little falls are new and 1 has spike. They came together with these 2 medium-sized falls, which are also has spikes. I almost lost this fall. I got it as near blooming size. I repotted it into a self-watering pot, transferred it into our room with an air conditioning unit. It didn't like the temperature, so it lost its roots and some of its leaves. Now it is growing. I hope that I could really save it. These 2 came with that poor fall. They came in a plastic pot of sphagnum moss. I repotted them in this self-watering pot and they are liking it. To have 1 fall here with crown rot when we went to a vacation. These 2 also came with that poor fall. They are in near blooming size. I also transferred them into our room with the air conditioning unit, but thankfully they did not rot and now they are growing. This fall I have longer than all the other falls I have, but it did not bloom yet. I have 3 native falls, Schwartzana, Schilleriana, and Intermedia. I bought these 2 online. Schwartzana came as bare root. Schilleriana was mounted on a plastic orchid pot, and I transferred them into a self-watering pot and they immediately adapted to it. This is the Intermedia. My sister-in-law gave this to me. It is a cakey with flowers, and it also quickly adapted into a semi-hydro setup. On to my oncidiums. I only have 2 kinds. The one with spent flower is Oncidium wildcat. This is her division. I'm experimenting in a semi-hydro setup with charcoal. The other one is a common dancing lady, which quickly adapted in a semi-hydro setup. Now my vandas. This one I just had recently, but it is already growing its roots. It is in a square plastic pot. It has some dead roots and I have to repot this soon. This is a vanda seedling which is not adapting into a semi-hydro setup. These vandas are doing great in this setup, but I am thinking of repotting them into a bigger basket so that I can hang them just where I can enjoy their blooms without looking up. And this is my last vanda in an improvised watering system I installed when we went to a vacation. These other orchids here are my sisters, which I am taking care of. I repotted some of them. These oncidiums were very unruly. These orchids haven't flowered for her yet, but I hope that they will bloom under my care. And lastly, my one and only catasetum. I didn't know that this kind of orchid exists until I saw this seedling for sale online. Quite expensive for the size and compared to other orchids, but I like the picture of the future blooms, so I bought it. I researched about it and now I am putting it into its dormancy. And that's it for now. By the way, this is my sister's house and we will be moving next year as well as my orchids, and in my next video, I will be repotting my new files, so if you are interested in seeing me how I do that, please subscribe and turn on your notification. Thank you for watching. Maraming salamat. Paalam!